Right, Dr. Kohli, some of these victims, or rather these people who are on the verge of deportation have borrowed thousands of pounds to get visas, and this is no fault of theirs. What would you attribute this move to? Of course, it's political in nature, but at the same time, it is also a learning, for India when it comes to our care workers and our caregivers.
Well, thank you so much, Vineet. Good afternoon to my fellow panelists and Newsdesk viewers. I love what you said, Vineet. Let's stop celebrating that we have an Indian origin head of the state in a particular country. We go gaga about, digging out the deepest family links of that person. He was born in so-and-so village, he's related to so-and-so. He studied in some Indian school. I think same thing happened to the Vice President of America. And we've all seen what happened after that, what has been the attitude. Same thing happening to Mr. Sunak. It's a shame that the country from where he belongs, his origin, he has to do this to the same country. I should say he's doing it to his fellow countrymen, simply by having a British passport, or you're getting elected as a Prime Minister. I regret saying this, and I'm sorry about this, but I have to say this, because at least this should not be done to the fellow Indians. These nurses, these NHS staff, I have seen them working in different cities across the UK. They have sold their jewelry, they have sold their agricultural land, they have sold their parents' assets, and they have moved there. There are some of the touts, agents who finally settled them in the UK. Now, not foreseeing this day. This is the last thing somebody would have expected, that one fine day I would be told, I'm sorry, you cannot bring your family. So it's indirect way of either telling you, either you get out of here, or directly telling you, please get out of here because we don't need you anywhere. We've got enough unemployment in our own country. The fact of the matter is that UK as a country is sinking ship. It's a sinking ship. The economy is in doldrums. Mr. Sunak is not going to get re-elected. The elections have been announced yesterday. 4th of July is the general election. And I think the results of the elections are very much on the wall. There is no marks for making a guess in what's going to happen, because the economy is in a terrible state. Unemployment is at its peak. And I think all they want is, he wants, as you said, this is appeasement politics. He wants to appease the locals. And a very important aspect, if you go and talk to a patient who's admitted to a hospital in the UK, and I spoke personally because I travel there very frequently, the difference of the medical care, the difference of the warmth, the difference of the personal touch which an Indian has for the patient, is far, far away from what a local would have. They'll just walk away leaving the patient, whereas the Indian nurse or an Indian medical healthcare worker would go out of the way, stay beyond the timings, make sure that the patient does not suffer, make sure that the patient doesn't feel neglected. So there is that warmth and touch which unfortunately is not there with the locals. So I think UK is going to learn the hard way, just the way Indians are learning the hard way, that please forget about your dream of going and settling in that country for 25-30 lakh rupees or whatever. And most importantly, we need the 30 lakhs package or 25 lakhs package or 32 lakhs package, and converting it to Indian rupees annual. More than half of it is spent over there because of the cost of living. It may look like a 30 lakh package, but what you effectively save, I spoke to a nurse, she said, sir, I save barely 5 to 6 lakhs per annum, which for me is a lot of money, because I can send it back home to my old parents. I can send it to if there are any children here, I can send it to them. I can send it to my relatives. That's all. So you making such a big sacrifice, what for? For 5 to 6 lakh rupees, whereas this country now has tremendous opportunities. Fine, a nurse may not get a 30 lakh package, but then look at the number of new hospitals coming up. Look at the number of new medical facilities coming up. I think they will learn the tough way, whereas I pity that they have to come back. It's a very sorry state of affairs, I would say. But they should not regret coming back. I can tell you through your show today, Vineet, that they've got a better life ahead of them. Please come back. Do not worry. You'll find a job. Good medical care workers are in need in this country as well. And you will not be jobless for a very long time. Forget it as a bad dream and spread it in your community, that please do not dream of settling in that country anymore, Vineet.
Absolutely right, Dr. Kohli. And Dr. Kohli, you said, you reiterated that when it comes to, the economic atmosphere in England and of course the adjoining European countries as well, the situation is imploding. A number of countries who have done well in the past have done so because of the immigrant population that continues to serve them. If you look at Canada and the United States in that regard, you know, if you judge this move just from an economic perspective, Dr. Kohli, do you think this is again a bad choice of discouraging immigrants from coming to your country? Forget the fact that, you know, it's Indian or Pakistanis or Bangladeshis.
Yes, very right, Vineet, because the fact of the matter is that these countries which you named, including the UK, although UK doesn't have a problem of population, and unlike Canada or unlike some of the other countries, unlike Japan for that matter, but there is a definite dearth of talent. I mean, the people who can really perform, people who can really deliver, people who can really expedite the work, I think that seems to be missing. And this is, I'm not saying this. If you go to the UK, you travel to UK very often, Vineet, you go and ask the people there. They will say the kind of work that an Indian can do, a Britisher cannot do. They'll run off at 5 o'clock and they will simply not work, leaving everything aside. So I think the choice is, as far as this is completely a political move, it is purely because of the election which has been declared by Rishi Sunak. And I think he is just wanting to make sure that the Britishers, they feel that their jobs are secured and their jobs are not taken away by Indians. But I can tell you with conviction that people who are in the hospitals, people who are under medical care in the United Kingdom, the best thing would be to go and ask them, are they happy with the locals, attending to them? One big answer would be, no, please, let my Indian nurse, let my Indian medico, let my Indian helper, whosoever it is, you know, whatever is the whole network of medical healthcare workers, let please that person remain here. So I think this is completely political move. They are going to regret it, because imagine a situation where all the Indians, as far as NHS is concerned, they leave UK. Just imagine that situation. Take another situation, everybody from the IT sector, they leave UK. Take a third situation, all the major businesses being controlled and run by Indians. Little do we know that most of the big businesses in the UK are controlled directly or indirectly by Indians. What if all these people have to leave UK? I can tell you, the country will come to a standstill. So from an economic point of view, I think it's a disastrous move. Well, notwithstanding the illegal visas and the illegal immigrants, the fact of the matter is that they have now got absorbed into the whole system. Not to allow their families to come there is basically torturing them. You can imagine, I mean, half the family there, the poor nurse, she came for a few months and now suddenly she knows that I cannot bring my family, my children are there. So this is also a very, I would say, a socially bad move. You know, the human touch in the government by being cruel to these workers is also visible here. That is most important. Economically speaking, I think at the end of the day, a few thousand workers from our country may be losers, but the bigger loser for me, if you ask me, is going to be the UK government when they start feeling the pinch and the pain of missing the skilled workers from their entire, I would say, rottening system.
Absolutely. Well, we've run out of time. Quick closing thoughts from Dr. Kohli and Mr. Sachdev. Dr. Kohli, in fact, India is becoming such a big hub for medical tourism. How would you conflate this opportunity to these developments taking shape in the United Kingdom?
I think it's going to be a blessing in disguise. It may seem like a very bitter move as of now, but I can tell you with a lot of conviction that this is eventually going to benefit us. And those nurses, my message to those nurses, their children, their families is, please do not regret. You are in for something which is much better. You are in for a better quality of life. At the end of the day, what you are saving is you're going to save here in the times to come. The kind of hospital infrastructure we're building is unmatched in the times to come. You will not even think of going to UK in the times to come. Neither your generation are going to think about that, Vineet.
All right, so Dr. Kohli, what you're saying, man ka ho to acha aur na ho to aur bhi acha. Is that what you're saying? All right. Well, you're absolutely right, and we have in fact been able to incorporate a number of valid points, progressive points, and I hope the people who are disheartened by this move by the UK government are encouraged after watching our show. Thank you everyone for being a part of this conversation. We have some breaking news to talk about now.